Anderson, don't talk out loud. You lower the IQ of the whole street. We can do much more than just read her emails.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 greatest portrayals of Sherlock Holmes.
You may rely on the discretion of my friend and colleague Dr. Watson. Please sit down.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at the best performances by actors that played the Baker Street's famous resident in both films and TV shows. Who played the best Professor James Moriarty in history? Let us know below. Number 10. Michael Caine, Without a Clue. If you ever thought of John Watson being the real mastermind behind the famous detective duo, then this comedy film is for you. Without a Clue has Ben Kingsley's Watson paying Michael Caine's Reginald Kincaid, the failing actor, to pretend to be Sherlock. The Doctor does this so he can solve crimes without the world watching his every move. This film's Sherlock is vastly different to most inceptions of the intense character. Caine does a wonderful job of playing the bumbling fool before going on to shine. Famous film critic Roger Ebert gave the Alfie star a great review by stating that no one is better at playing frauds who become accidental heroes. Number 9. Yuko Takeuchi, Miss Sherlock. With a character that's been around since 1887, it's hard to find new takes on Sherlock. Well, in 2018, Japan did just that with their TV show Miss Sherlock by casting women in the title roles.
どうしてわかったの？私が医者だって。スーツケースに縫合紙を巻く練習した跡が残ってる。
Set in the modern day, the late great Yuko Takeuchi stars as Sarah Sherlock Shelley Futaba. After working as a doctor in Syria and returning to Tokyo, Wato Tachibana, played by Shihorie Kanjiya, helps her flatmate solve crimes. But the best part is she's called Wato-san, which is just amazing.
Wato-san. 妹シャーロックをよろしくお願いします。
Takeuchi's cello-playing Sherlock is quirky, takes no nonsense, and is even arrogant. But this, amazingly, makes her even more likable. The chemistry she shares with Kanjiya is magnetic, causing fans to ship the two online.
好きにすれば、私といること必ず後悔させてあげる。
Number 8. Ian McKellen, Mr. Holmes. Everyone is a bit of a sucker for a story about an old gunslinger having one last outing before riding into the sunset. And 2015's film Mr. Holmes does this with 93-year-old Sherlock, played by Sir Ian McKellen.
Exceptional children are often the product of unremarkable parents.
The bittersweet movie takes a hard look at aging, as the famous detective struggles to remember his devastating final case as he resides in rural Sussex. We also explore the touching relationship between Sherlock and the son of his housekeeper, Roger.
When you're a detective and a man comes to visit you, it's usually about his wife.
Mr. Holmes lets us see behind the often mysterious sleuth with McKellen's fantastic acting. It makes the character far more relatable than he ever has been by examining that even the greats can't escape the clutches of Father Time.
No, I care about Roger. I care about him very much.
Number 7. Henry Cavill, Enola Holmes franchise. When he wasn't soaring through the sky as Superman or battling beasties in The Witcher, Henry Cavill lent his talents to the storied history of Sherlock in the Enola Holmes franchise.
And those kind of mysteries are always the most satisfying to unpick.
Based on the book series by Nancy Springer, the first film introduced us to the teenage sister of the Baker Street icon as she defied social norms in the 19th century. Unlike most Sherlock adventures, Cavill's portrayal is a supporting role to Millie Bobby Brown's Enola.
Maybe I can help.
You can help by leaving.
But when he's on screen, we see a more emotional version that we don't typically get to witness. So much so that the Conan Doyle estate attempted to sue Netflix for giving Sherlock feelings. The lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice.
I'm here because I care for you.
Number 6. Basil Rathbone, Various. When we think of an accurate Sherlock on screen, many of us picture the fantastic work of Basil Rathbone. He used all the treasured traditional items that go with the character.
My conjecture is that he'll be murdered.
Murdered?
It'll be very interesting to see if my deductions are accurate.
Such as the nifty deerstalker cap, the dashing cape, and the sophisticated pipe. In his career, Rathbone played the famous detective in 15 films. Starting in 1939 with The Hound of the Baskervilles, his last outing as Sherlock was in 1946 for Dressed to Kill.
If you must record my exploits, I do wish you'd put less emphasis on the melodramatic.
On top of this, he appeared in radio series, audiobooks, and stage productions as Sherlock. Not many actors have played the role on so many different formats for as long as Rathbone. As such, his portrayal is seen as the benchmark for other actors.
I order for both of us.
What do you order for me?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Number 5. Jonny Lee Miller, Elementary. As a way to separate comparisons to the UK's Sherlock show, Elementary had a couple of changes in the modern set adventure.
Sherlock Holmes. Please don't get comfortable, we won't be here long.
For starters, it was based in New York City rather than London. And then we have the great Lucy Liu as Dr. Joan Watson. Jonny Lee Miller's portrayal heavily leans into the darker addiction issues associated with the detective, with Watson starting out as his sober companion.
You didn't tell me that one of your brother's restaurants had 2 Michelin stars.
I didn't tell you that my brother was a corporeal entity.
On top of this, the two leading actors have great chemistry that made the show such a success for so long. Elementary ran for a massive 154 episodes, giving Miller the distinct honour of playing Sherlock on screen the most out of any other actor in history.
Housewarming present.
Number 4. Vasily Levanov, Various. Not every non-Brit actor will get an MBE for their Sherlock work, but then again, not every actor is Vasily Levanov.
Вы в совершенстве познали мой детективный метод. Но, увы. Ваши выводы в большинстве ошибочны.
Starting in 1979, Levanov played the legendary detective in several Russian TV films, many under the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson name. His interpretation was a little different. While confident, Levanov's Sherlock wasn't arrogant. Instead, he was a lot more laid back. Levanov also slipped in a funny bone to his interpretation, rather than the character typically being the straight man.
Нет, это просто невозможно строить какие-нибудь предположения на таком неверном материале.
The actor's wonderful work on Sherlock has meant so much to so many people. In 2007, statues based on his version and Vitaly Solomon as Watson were unveiled at the British Embassy in Russia.
Прекрасно. Смерть несчастного Рональда Адера только ускорила исполнение моих планов.
Number 3. Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes franchise. Many people's first introduction to Sherlock was thanks to Robert Downey Jr.'s work.
Is it November?
Yes, Holmes.
Typically, Americans tend to struggle with making a British accent authentic, but Downey's portrayal was an exception. The first 2009 film even resulted in him getting a Best Actor award at the Golden Globes. Not too shabby. Downey's portrayal of the character incorporated many typical Sherlock characteristics, but with a slight refresh.
Madam, I need you to remain calm, and trust me, I'm a professional.
Such as the methodical boxing scene, highlighting Sherlock's calculating mind in a stylized way. Downey also wasn't afraid to get a little goofy when highlighting the detective's impressive disguise skills. Sherlock's eccentric side really came out with the Iron Man actor at the helm.
It's a game, dear man, a shadowy game. We're playing cat and mouse, the professor and I.
Number 2. Jeremy Brett, Various.
Which one of you is Holmes?
My name, sir. But you have the advantage of me.
No actor has engrossed themselves in the role of Sherlock Holmes more than Jeremy Brett. After conducting a massive amount of research, he put together a 77-page document on the detective. From his eating habits to his behavioral quirks, this packet had it all. Brett even spoke about Sherlock being the hardest role he's ever had, and it paid off, and then some. For many, he's the quintessential Sherlock. He even used his own diagnosis of bipolar disorder and incorporated it into the character with sudden mood swings.
Did anything happen?
Nothing. Neither the living nor the dead appeared.
On top of playing the detective and Dr. Watson on stage, Brett is best known for his work on the Sherlock Holmes TV series, in which he played the title character in 41 episodes from 1984 to 1994.
How dare you get out!
I was going to join you for tea, but I see I'm too late.
Number 1. Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock. Whilst there's only been 13 episodes of Sherlock, the fact it's made such an impression in pop culture shows just how great it is.
Shut up, everybody! Shut up! Don't move, don't speak, don't breathe. I'm trying to think. Anderson, face the other way. You're putting me off.
Set in present-day London, it featured Benedict Cumberbatch in the title role and Martin Freeman as John Watson. Sherlock, as he puts it himself, is a high-functioning sociopath. Cumberbatch walks the line between the audience hating the character and loving him remarkably well, keeping the audience gripped on the edge of their seat.
What the hell are you doing?
Bored.
What?
Bored!
No.
Bored! Bored!
And the award judges agree. Cumberbatch has received several awards for his portrayal of Sherlock, including a Primetime Emmy. On top of Cumberbatch, Sherlock also had the incredible Andrew Scott as the terrifying Moriarty, making this show one of the best of all time.
No one ever gets to me. And no one ever will.
I did.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.